Welcome back to Pimp My Setup. Today we're going to be taking a look at some simple yet awesome setups, and later today we're going to hear from special guest TechExamined. So if you're interested in that, then sit back, relax, and interact because the show starts now.
It's time for the original setup show dedicated to providing you with tips, tricks, and feedback to pimp out your setup. Hosted by Matt Philly with new special guests every week. Coming at you live in 3, 2, 1.
Help support the channel by joining the Swashin crew. It's only $1 a month and you get a special Discord rank. Head on over to swashintv/support to join. Hi everybody, I'm Matt Philly. This is episode 5 of Pimp My Setup, and I'm really excited because all of these setups, yes, they're simple, but they're also really awesome. So the first setup of the day is submitted by Joe, who's 14 years old, and he uses a setup for casual gaming. He also said in the future he wants to actually put a TV above the monitors because his bed is right behind him, so it just makes sense. And yes, I totally agree with that. He was also on episode 168 of season 2. First things first, this setup is super bright, like really bright, and it's also very clean, which is great considering you're only 14. It's almost too bright to the point where like you look at it and you're like, okay, damn, my eyes, boy. The cable management is really great, obviously other than the headphone cable, but that's not a big deal. And the accessories are also really cool. I don't know if I would have the subwoofer right there, but then again, I don't know where else you could put it. You don't really have that much space. I do wish your case was black only because there is so much white that I think more contrast would really benefit the setup overall. And honestly, I would probably add a bit more color. Now, I like the white and black. I'm not saying to go away from that, but sort of how the posters add a pop of color, maybe a little bit more on the desktop itself will really just kind of put the cherry on top. The last thing I want to talk about is something you're most likely not going to change only because your desk works. It's a nice desk, has a lot of storage, but personally, I think two different options could have worked better here. One, you could still have a similar desk, but just inverted, and I would have the monitors on the other side because it just looks longer, so you'd get more space out of it. But again, you know, the way the desk is, you can't really just invert it. The other thing was just getting a corner desk. I think that was actually the best play for this setup, but I do like your desk, like I said, so I'm not like really hating on it. I just think that with a corner desk, you'd probably get more usable space considering such a tight little corner you're in. So that's just what I would have done. That didn't hold Joe back though from getting 3 8s, a 9, and a 10, giving him a final score of 86. Good job. The next setup of the day is submitted by Sven, who's 27 years old, uses a setup for web surfing, YouTube, Xbox gaming, and even Netflix. His desk is self-made and it even has a removable backplate for cable management. I'll be honest, that is super cool. Now, personally, I would have loved to see an actual photo of it in action, like removing it and seeing what the cables look like back there. So Sven, definitely tweet me a photo at swashintv. I want to see it. I also want to say this actually inspired me because I'm about to do a crazy build where I redo the shed completely, and I think a removable backplate is something I should definitely look into. So thanks for the idea. I really dig this setup. I think that it has perfect symmetry, which is something you definitely put a lot of time into, and it also has a pretty interesting theme. Now, normally I would say that, you know, maybe there is a little too much on the shelves, and I still think that maybe you could condense just a little bit, but for once, I actually think you did a great job with making it important to the actual setup itself, and it just works well. It looks good. So honestly, I kind of dig it. It doesn't look like a mess. Now, one thing I would do is definitely put the subwoofer on the floor, and I understand maybe having that backplate can be problematic in the sense that, you know, cable management in front of it is a bit of an issue, and I see you have one hole there, but I can understand that being an issue. So definitely something I want to think about when I implement mine. Maybe I only want a part of the desk to have a removable backplate rather than the whole desk. But for the most part, you did a great job with it. I do think though the subwoofer should be on the floor. And also going off of that, you know, the PC, I would probably find a better spot for it because normally you'd see the cables coming out and you're like, oh, that looks terrible, but you just had to go above and beyond and make the cable management coming out of the PC like a work of art. So kudos there. You definitely took your time with everything, so I can't hate. At the end of the day, Sven walked away with 1 8, 2 9s, 2 10s, and making his final score a 92. The next setup is submitted by Will, who's 15 years old. He uses this setup for gaming and photo and video editing and also schoolwork, hence the empty section of the desk, which is meant for the schoolwork. He was on episode 140 of season 2, and he wanted to let me know that the map on the wall he had to draw from memory for school, and he thinks it adds a lot of personality and uniqueness to the setup. And also he purchased everything all by himself, and it's taken him a very long time to get to where he is now, and he has a job at the age of 15. So we hear that all the time, but honestly, Will, congratulations if that's true. Kudos to you. And yes, I think the map is definitely cool, and that's why I love to know the backstory to like the different art pieces and stuff, because that really does make a difference. Looking at this setup, I mean, I love it. I love everything from the wall art to the actual wall color and the desk and the overall vibe. It's just very, very, very nice. The cable management is amazing. It's just a very clean setup. And considering you're only 14 years old, I mean, this is just, good job. Now, of course, a setup is never finished, so as you start to save up even more money, I would probably add some speakers. They're good to have. I know people say, oh, but he's got headphones, Matt. Yeah, he does, but he also could have speakers. I think they are pretty important to a setup. You also have a lot of legs under the desk, but I guess that's a good thing because you are prepared for the eventual warping of those tabletops. Hopefully you're able to stop it with the amount of legs that you actually have. It does look like a lot going on, but again, you're doing it for a reason, so can't hate. And then honestly, I would just kind of add a little bit more in terms of like the left side. It looks really, really empty. You know, the right side, of course it's empty. It's because you're actually doing schoolwork over there, so that makes sense. But the left side, I think you could even just add a little something, and it would really just finish the setup. Will got 3 9s, 2 10s, made his final score a 94. The next setup of the day is submitted by MALACHI, who's 14 years old. He uses this setup for gaming and watching YouTube. MALACHI, I love the chill vibe you got going on here. I really like the black and white contrast. It's something we see a lot of, and I think you did a great job with. The prints above, as well as the LEDs, and even the mic arm add a nice pop of color, which is definitely important because, like I said before, contrast is great, but I think when you throw in a slam of color, it's just like, ooh, baby. Now, this is probably the best cable management of the day. Absolutely killer. I love it. The only thing is, I'd probably get rid of the cardboard and maybe replace it with something a little more visually appealing. Other than that though, like, damn, you really took your time with that. The only negative I really have isn't even that big of a deal, but I think that the right side is a little bit random, and I think if you had like a desktop organizer or something, it would just look a lot better, only because it really does seem random. Not much to say there for MALACHI, but he got 2 8s, a 9, 2 10s, making his final score a 90. The final setup of the day is submitted by Rhett, who's only 12 years old, which is just crazy, and he uses his setup for gaming and schoolwork. He said the entire setup cost him about $1,900, which he bought with the money he saved up for 4 years. Now, if that's all true, good job, Rhett. Definitely something to be proud of. But it's like imagining an 8-year-old being like, all right, mom and dad, I'm going to save up some cash, so 4 years from now, I have a big game plan, dropping stacks on a setup. How's that sound? Anyways, this is another great contrasty yet bright setup, and has a lot of cool accessories. It's super clean and over the top for a 12-year-old. I mean, really, it's crazy. And the cable management's actually really, really great, except for one thing. I'm not sure I dig the keyboard cable at all. I think it's really odd that you're bringing it towards yourself under the keyboard and even under the mouse pad. That probably makes your keyboard really unbalanced when you type on it, which is not good. And plus, it's just really, really weird to look at. And I definitely just drill a hole or go the old-fashioned way and just bring it towards the back, and that's it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with seeing a keyboard cable. It's just better when you can hide it. Other than that cable, I'd probably just move the pops a little bit. I wouldn't cover the speakers. Not that it's really making a difference in sound. I just think visually it would look better to have it spread out. You could maybe even elevate the speakers if you wanted, and I would definitely hide those boxes on the left side in a closet or something, and then definitely do some with the blank walls. I think that's a blank canvas with your theme waiting to be spread there, so definitely do that, and this setup is going to be killer. And again, you're 12 years old, which is just insane. Rhett got an 8, 2 9s, and a 10, and sadly a 6 in personality, which isn't awful and it's not that harsh. Your score is still an 84. Now it's time for the part of the show where we hear from our special guests, find out what they thought of each setup submitted today, and also which one was their favorite. Today's special guest is Mike Panetta, aka TechExamined.
Hey guys, what's Oh, it's Matt. Yo, Matt. Yeah, I'm actually recording it for you right now. I know. Most hated, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. I promise that this will be much different. I don't know. What are you going to do? In all seriousness, Matt, thank you so much for having me on the show. Joe, let's take a look at your setup. Absolutely awesome. Super clean. Love the posters on the wall. If I have to give one critique, Matt kind of mentioned the idea of maybe doing a desk in the corner. I think the speakers, the way that they're set up, because how you have your monitors, is a little bit awkward. It might kind of pull the sound from one side to the other and may not be mixed properly. But all in all, an absolutely awesome setup. Sven, I love the fact that you made the desk yourself. You actually thought ahead to be able to have a panel to remove to hide the cables. The shelves are super organized, but I'm not a fan of having boxes on there. Maybe show off something else that you're interested in that kind of dress it up a little bit more than just having boxes on there. Well, I checked out your setup from episode 160. whew, you had made some major changes. My favorite thing about this is that art on the wall that you have from memory, drawing the map of the world. Very, very cool. Love the pictures on the left side. I have to agree with Matt. On that left side, it is a little bit barren. Maybe put something over there. Maybe add some speakers to the desk later on. I think it's pronounced MALACHI. MALACHI, I love the black and white theme with the pop of red on your desk. Yet again, cable management is on point. I would get rid of that brown cardboard underneath there. There are some other cable management solutions that you could shoot for, whether it's taking out that underneath holder and maybe going with a solid block to be able to hide the cables. But the cardboard just kind of makes it a little bit sloppy looking in my opinion. Last but definitely not least, Rhett, who's 12 years old. I love this setup. Yet again, super clean. Cable management is on point, except for the one thing, and that's that cable coming out from behind the keyboard or in front of the keyboard going underneath. If you're allowed to drill into your desk, I would definitely look into doing that. If you can't, then you definitely got to go straight out the back. And there are, again, some cable management solutions. Because you got a white desk, you put something real small over top of that because it is the black cable. But I'm confused because you have the same thing for the mouse on the other side where the cable's going back. Matt, I don't envy you at all. Try to pick a winner for this based on the numbers. My guess is they're probably all going to be pretty darn close. Guys, awesome setups. Keep up the great work. I hope these tips helped out a little bit. Again, Matt, thank you so much for having me on the show. You guys take it easy.
Big shout out to Mike for being today's special guest. Definitely give him props. In the previous episodes, he wasn't the most liked because he was a little harsh, but I think he had a nice, easy episode with these great setups, and I think he did a great job. So thanks to Mike. I'll leave a link to all his stuff down below in the description. That's gonna do it though for episode number 5 of Pimp My Setup. I hope you guys are enjoying. I tried to kind of condense a little bit more. Let me know what you're thinking. I know a lot of people want the guest to be implemented in another way, so leave your feedback. I'm wide open. I want to hear what you guys think. But as always, thanks for watching. Hit that like button. It really does help. And also hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 200K. And be sure to support the channel. $1 a month, swashin.tv/support. Join our Discord. Follow the Instagrams. Follow the Twitters. Follow all that fun stuff. Links to that all down below in the description. With that said, I'll see you next week for episode number 6. Don't forget, I'm Matt Philly and you're not. Get out of my face. Have a great day. And I'll catch ya on the flippity flop.